Hi, everybody. Welcome to Brothers of Men. I am Jeffrey Russell. Wanted to go over a few things that I've seen on the news the past couple of days. Some good, some bad. This first one really doesn't hold any weight. I just kind of thought it was interesting and it was nice to hear. Uh, I'll explain. Kanye West railed against Beyonce and Jay-Z supporting Clinton, saying at one of his concerts, if I would have voted, I would have voted for Trump. Now, the reason I believe that is because, as we all know, Kanye West is married to Kim Kardashian. Her stepfather, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce, is a big Trump supporter. And he's came out many times in support of Trump. And I think them being in close proximity to each other, um, I believe Caitlyn would have had the chance to um, kind of give him his opinion, and I think that's influenced Kanye. So I just thought that was nice. Most of the time in Hollywood or in the music business, just about everybody's on the left, and so it was just kind of nice to hear, even if it was from somebody like Kanye West. So Trump has come out and given his plan for the first 100 days. I'm fairly happy with it. 100 days really isn't a long time, and I think he's got uh, some good things here to kind of get us moving. The larger things like the wall, Obamacare, that's going to take time, and he's going to want input from a lot of different people. And so far, from what I've seen, that's kind of the way he works. Um, is he makes his initial stance and then adjusts it depending on what he hears uh, from people he trusts. And I think that's a very good way to work. It seems to be one of his greatest strengths because as a businessman, it's about give and take. I mean, he literally wrote the book on it, and the media is coming out and saying that he's backpedaling, he's going back on his word when that's really not happening. What's happening is he is getting information and then altering his stance based on that information. I'm pretty sure that's what all of us do every day of our lives. So, knocking him for that, I really think it's just the mainstream media trying to get people to doubt him. So, Trump has said in his first 100 days he wants to withdraw from the TPP. Can't complain about that. He wants to cancel EPA restrictions for coal and oil. I think that's a good thing. A lot of people have been put out of work from President Obama and Hillary Clinton and that whole group uh, killing our power plants. We've lost over half of our power plants due to some EPA restrictions, and I think that's ridiculous. If you can't, you know, and it all goes back to the whole global warming thing, which I won't get into. But, you know, in this day and age, we have to have power. It's got to come from somewhere. And I'm not saying that I don't think we should have clean power. We certainly should. We can put a man on the moon, as they say. Why can't we have clean power? Um, and I think Trump wants to do that. But Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton came out and blatantly said that we are going to close as many power plants as we can, whether that be, through coal or natural gas, it doesn't matter. So, moving on. He wants to confront possible infrastructure um, terror attacks. So, we have one of the oldest uh, energy systems, infrastructure systems uh, in the world as far as first world countries go. And the big thing right now is a lot of people are worried about a possible EMP attack, which could take out, entire sections of the country's power. So I think that's something good. He wants to investigate federal visas. He wants to uh, look at um, kind of filling in the gaps, filling in the holes to our federal visa program. I don't see how that's bad. He wants to impose bans on lobbying by uh, government employees from foreign governments. I don't see how that's bad either. But to CNN and MSNBC and all the other ones, uh, they're still trying to, and I mean, and that's not even everything that was covered. Um, and just with that, I feel like that is a lot in the first 100 days. And to those people, they're still trying. They're still trying to say that he's going back on his word. He's just because he's not come out with exact blueprints on every single thing. He's lied to us. He's fooled us all. Um, so anyway, moving on. CNN. ISIS is bringing Christianity to extinction in the Middle East. Now this one really worries me, and it really makes me sad. We live in a world where you should be free uh, to believe whatever you want to believe. If you want to, kind of like the giant spaghetti monster, or whatever it was. If you want to believe in Christianity, why is that reason to kill you? And that's what they're trying to bring over into the West. And you can watch my video about ISIS and Islam, and see the truth about that. So if you know people want to deny bad things because they're bad and they make you uncomfortable, but unfortunately, Christians are being killed. Um, a lot of them are being killed in this day and age, and we need to do something about it. Christians are being persecuted and being killed for believing what they believe in. And that's something, as an American, whether you are Christian or not, you should be against killing somebody for what they believe in. That's what this country was founded on. And all the people who are out there protesting, all the people who are out there rioting, you're protesting because you believe in something. You're protesting, and you're given the right to protest because of people that have come before you and died. So this should upset any American. Moving on. Facebook has come out and said it's going to take measures to censor fake news. Now, I've gone over this whole fake news thing. Things like The Onion, which are obvious fake news sources. Yes, that's fake news. However, that's obviously not what they're talking about. They're talking about InfoWars and Breitbart and places like that. Conservative, what is now called the alt-right, which I still haven't heard a definition of what the alt-right is. I'm not sure if I'm alt-right or not. I know I don't believe the mainstream media. And if you want to look at fake news, go look at the New York Times and the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune. You can look at NBC, ABC, CNN. Look at them over the last year. Didn't they all say that Trump's campaign is dying, the last stand for Donald Trump? Hillary Clinton has 98% chance of winning. Hillary Clinton is up by 10 points in major polls, and yet Hillary Clinton got smoked. So, who's fake news? And these women who have come out against Trump with all these sexual allegations, I believe most of them have been dropped due to whatever reason. Uh, he won the election and they realized that it didn't matter anymore or whatever. Women coming out. There was a woman who came out and said that she was beaten and raped by Trump supporters and then came out and said it was a lie. So now Alex Jones, and I use him because I watch him most because he's good at covering all of his bases. Alex Jones said that election fraud had been going on for years, and he said that they bust in uh, basically poor minorities and paid them, and they would have them go vote, 10 times, and then take them to another polling place and have them vote 10 times over there. And that came out to be true. He's come out against globalism, which has been denied for years, and now globalism is kind of in the forefront. And yet, still, just the other day, I forget if it was CNN or one of the big mainstream media came out and said globalism is a right wing conspiracy theory. Even though the UN openly talks about globalism, even though guys like George Soros and Henry Kissinger openly talk about globalism. So they're telling you that it's a lie when you can get online and go to any mainstream website and find people talking about globalism, global government, one central power. George Bush was one of the first people to come out, with the New World Order. So it goes back to to this 1984 thing of doublespeak, and it just really amazes me how many people want to bury their head in the sand when, if it's not going to be you, it's going to be your children. And if it's not your children, it's going to be theirs who are going to be either killed off or turned into slaves. Because unfortunately, as simple of a saying as it is, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we find that slowly over time that's what happened. Have you ever looked at Agenda 21 that was passed in the early 90s? Go take a look at it. It's terrifying. Go take a look. If you don't believe me, go look at what they want to do to the United States. And that's something that was passed in the early 90s. And they're working on it little by little every day to get us there. It's not something that happens overnight. And we think that, just because, like, it's just a little thing over here, it's just a little thing over there, those little things add up. It doesn't happen overnight. Hitler's Germany didn't happen overnight. It took years between World War One and Two for all of that stuff to happen. And we all just let it happen until it was too late. So, let's see here. Gun manufacturers are seeing a decline in gun sales since the election. Now, it depends on how you look at it, but it's a good and a bad thing. If Hillary Clinton would have been elected, gun sales and gun prices would have shot through the roof because everybody knows that Hillary Clinton is out to take our guns away. Now, if she can't necessarily take the right away, but if she can hold gun manufacturers responsible for any damages caused by weapons produced by them, they're not going to be a company for very long. And if you have no guns to buy, there goes your right. And things like having to have a background check to buy ammunition and wanting to put barcodes on ammunition. It's ridiculous. So in that aspect, it's good because people know, at least for right now, that our Second Amendment is safe. However, gun sales have slowed because uh, for the last 4 or 5 years, gun sales have skyrocketed, and now they've kind of tapered off because we have somebody in the White House who has come out and said that he supports the Second Amendment. So, you know, gun sales are gonna suffer a little bit. But I would rather have gun sales suffer a little bit and know that in a couple of months I can still go buy one rather than having to scrape up some money right now to go buy, an AR-15 because if I don't, I'm never going to be able to get my hands on one. So, uh, as we all have heard, there have been several shootings of police officers within the last 2, 3 days. There was one killed in San Antonio. I believe there was two shot in Missouri. One died, and then there was another officer shot in Florida. Um, it's getting scarier and scarier these days to be a cop. And if we want these problems to go away, I'm not saying that there's not bad cops out there. I'm not saying that cops don't accidentally, kill somebody, or not necessarily accidentally, but maybe unjustifiably kill some people. But if you want to look at percentages, cops killing blacks is I believe it's less than 1% of all black deaths. Okay, now black on black murders is, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I'm certain that it's greater than less than 1%. Now, being a cop, it's you're you're making judgments, you're making split-second decisions. And yes, it's your responsibility as a cop to be held responsible. And the answer is not killing innocent cops. The lady in Tulsa here, that's a very good example. She deserves to go to jail. She did something that was obviously wrong. Now, when you have these, guys with these long rap sheets and they're, you know, pulling guns out on cops and then the cop shoots them, yeah, you know, what'd you expect? Uh, but I mean, I see both sides of it. But the answer certainly is not going out and killing cops. So, lastly, and I wanted to end this on a good note, Henry Repeating Arms over this past weekend had 1,000 shot gunshot, had 1,000 Henry rifles and 1,000 people come out. They did it outside of Phoenix, Arizona. If you want to see video of it, you can go on Iraqi Veteran 8888 and watch their video of the 1,000-man shoot. They set a world record, and yeah, it was pretty cool seeing all those people. 1,000 people shot twice, and so they set a world record. So that was pretty cool, and it was good to see, So anyway, that is what's going on in the world right now, or some of it, very little of it actually. So if you have any comments, please leave them below. Please subscribe, like the channel. Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one and be good to each other. Bye bye.